Hi, what if this could be the most productive generative time? Hi, what if this could be the most productive generative time you've ever had in your business? During this time when most people are hunkering down, waiting for it to pass, hoping that they just survive. What if you had the skills not only to survive, but you actually come out of this thriving in a way that surpasses your wildest imagination? My name is Felicia Searcy. I am your Dream Life Activator and your partner in believing. It is my joy to help you create a life that you love. And today, I want to help you stay focused, knowing that even if we're hunkered down and shelter in place, wherever you may be watching this, your dream is not in quarantine. And when you say yes to that life force that's seeking expression through you, in that richer, freer, fuller expression, not only do you feel better and are you served, but truly, this is how we bring our highest contribution to the body of humanity. So let me share with you why I am on fire with this idea of thriving during this time when literally the ground underneath you is shaking. You know, I live in Southern California, we've had I've been through a couple of rumbles, nothing really major in terms of earthquakes, but just when the ground shakes a little bit, there's that impulse, that visceral impulse, just to freeze where you are in order just to establish your balance. You just want to make sure that you don't get knocked off. When you're frozen like that, you can't move. In fact, you're intentionally frozen, and knowing that if you move, hey, Marija, I apologize if I'm not able to pronounce your name correctly, but I'm thrilled that you're here. I want to help you understand that now is the time more than ever to stay focused on your dream, knowing that your dream does not go into quarantine, but that there is a process of staying present for what's seeking to come alive for you. So as I was sharing, I'm from Southern California, and when the ground starts shaking a little bit, there's that visceral tendency to want to lock down in order just not to get knocked off. So you just freeze. We're in the middle of a major ground shaking event where so many people are just hunkered down, hoping to survive, hoping not to get knocked off. What I want to help you understand is that you are this amazing creative being with unlimited capacity to create. And that creative capacity does not stop just because things around you are shaking. And there is a very specific system. There is a way to harness that power, especially now, and put it in service to what's seeking to come alive through you in the form of your dream. So you can now bring your highest contribution to the body of humanity. So let me share with you why I am on fire with this. I've been in business now in this incarnation, this iteration of my business for a little bit over 8 years. And I'll never forget when I made the decision to take the leap. Every single person in this group made the decision to take the leap into your business. I was nervous and my knees were knocking, and I thought that was the big leap. It was, but it wasn't like the earth shattering, the ground shaking leap. 3 weeks after I started my business, I'm in an ambulance with my husband in the back. We're heading to Vanderbilt University Hospital in Nashville, where we were living at the time. I not knowing whether he's going to live or die. I get to the hospital. I'm in a conversation with the doctor who says, Mrs. Searcy, your husband needs to stay in the hospital because if he doesn't, he'll die. And then I have somebody in the insurance office saying, Mrs. Searcy, your insurance isn't covering this illness. In that moment, I figured out how to keep him in the hospital, get him somewhat stabilized so I can go home, check on things, get some rest. 3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and I've got terror whipping through my body. My ground got kicked out from underneath me in a moment's notice. And I got a question banging in my head. Now, one of the things that I have learned and what I help the people that I have the honor of work with understanding is that the caliber of the question will determine the caliber of the answer. And I had a question at the time, and the question was, how do I keep my husband alive? How do I keep my husband alive? It feels like it's a fair question given the circumstance. And I got an answer. My answer was, go back to the school system. I knew I could go back, get a job within 48 hours. I had that kind of reputation in the school system where I used to teach, and I could get my husband insured. But here's the thing that I learned to notice that I want to help you understand. I noticed that there was a part of me that it literally felt like the lights went out and there was a part of me that was dying. Now, because I was working with the principles that I want to share with you today, I made the room for a different question to drop in. And the question was, what if you following your is the exact answer to my husband's illness? Now, here's the deal. In that shaking ground moment, I did not have a shred of evidence. Hey, Carrie, glad that you're here. I hope this serves you. I did not have a shred of evidence of that. In fact, that was possible. But because I was deepening my understanding in a system of transformation that was the cause of my results, I had a dream that I believed in, and I had a mentor who believed in me and cared about me, and I believed in her. I had the faith that I could move forward. Now, I'm lying there. I got a decision to make. Every single one of us in this moment has a decision to make. Do you hunker down and stay frozen, or do you move forward? And because of everything that I just shared with you, I knew that I could trust the power that was moving through me. I could trust my dream and trust the structure that I was in to move forward. And so I made the decision to go forward. Even in the face of it being remarkably or feeling remarkably irresponsible, I decided to go forward. Now, here's the deal. I didn't just throw it out to the universe hoping for the best. I took massive imperfect action. I got busy. I went deeper with what I was sharing with you, and I got busy moving my feet. Now, the remarkable thing is that every area of my life transformed. Let me share with you my results so you can see what this system looks like in real-time application. As I was staring down the facts, which I'm going to share with you all here in a moment, and kept my feet moving and deepened my understanding and my belief in the systems that I'm sharing with you today, my business catapulted. That first year, I was able to generate almost multiple six figures from going from zero. We found this, it was actually took a couple years for us to really find a solution for my husband, but I was able to keep things moving even with my ground shaking. We eventually were able to move to Southern California, which we absolutely love. My husband, because of my application of what I'm sharing with you and my ability to grow my capacity to serve in the form of my business, he was able to retire 7 years ahead of schedule. Again, we live in our dream home. Every area just keeps getting better and better. I am able to serve the dreams of thousands of people around the world. I'm very grateful that my company has generated millions of dollars in revenue. I give highly to organizations that are deeply meaningful for me because I really believe that's a key purpose of our work. Now, all of that is great, right? But here's the thing I want you to hear. This is not to impress you. It's to impress upon you that there is a system for success. There is a system for transformation. And when our world is rocking, that it doesn't mean that this process of building a life that you love stops. This, in fact, can be the fuel to actually catapult you forward in ways that you couldn't imagine. The purpose of that desire, first of all, I want you to understand that desire, that your dream, your desire to build out this amazing work that you're a member of this group for, that's not your desire. That's life itself seeking a richer, freer, fuller expression by means of your dream. And the purpose of that desire is to grow you into an even greater version of who you already are. It's the invitation to dig deep and to discover elements and aspects and to develop even more those elements and aspects about yourself as you deepen your sense of communion and companionship with the very power that wove you into existence and woke you up this morning. So that's what we're up to here. So I'm pouring everything I can into this very short amount of time. I'm thrilled to be able to share this information with you. And I will also share with you ways that we can go deeper with this. All right, so let's ground this in some foundations. First foundation is you are an unlimited being with unlimited capacity. And what is that creative capacity, that unlimited capacity? It's your thinking capacity. I love that quantum physics is now proving what spiritual masters have taught throughout the ages, that what you predominantly mentally rehearse in this amazing faculty of our imagination and charge with your feelings creates an energetic, there's a vibration to it. There's an energetic to it, which then communicates to this field of energy around us, where there are waves of unformed energy hanging out in what's called superposition. And in some fantastical way, and science is proving this, over time, science is proving this, in some fantastical way, that energy, that unformed energy, organizes around your predominant thinking and your feeling and creates your results. Your thoughts and feelings, how you move in the world, becomes your organizing pattern for what your life looks like. So that's one fundamental principle that I want to ground you in. The second principle that's related to that is that there's a phenomenon called open and closed systems. There was a chemist back in 1977, Iliad Prigogine. I'm probably not pronouncing his name exactly right, but he won the Nobel Prize for the work that he did in open and closed systems. What he showed was that if you introduced a stressor to a closed system, think of an engine, a car engine, and when you rev the engine up or you push that engine beyond its capacity, it does not have the ability to adapt to the stress. And so the engine actually shuts down. Most people function in that way. Most people try to reduce their stress, especially in situations right now where our whole world, the ground is shaking underneath us, that people try to reduce their stress in order not to break the system, break us, right? Break our checkbooks, break our health, break our relationships with our family, that you try to manage the system in order not to break. What he showed was that there was another kind of system called an open system. An open system has the capacity to adapt and accommodate an introduced foreign stressor. In fact, that system actually welcomes those stressors because it becomes the very thing to cause you to grow and evolve and to transform into a whole new iteration of that entity. We are in the process right now of having a stressor introduced. Now, by nature, we are an open system. By habit, we function as a closed system. Most people, let me share that again. By nature, the fundamental reality of who we are and how we are created to evolve and transform given a stressor that's it's designed into the very nature of our being. By function, most people operate as a closed system, that you try to control the stressors in your life in order not to overtax and push beyond what you think your limits are. This situation that we're in right now is the invitation for us to decide, are we going to function as a closed system and hunker down and just try to keep our equilibrium when the ground is shaking? Are we going to acknowledge and embrace who we are as these amazing beings that have the capacity to hold our ground steady as we embrace the stressor and allow it to be the very thing to organize us into a whole nother level of being? So I know this group, absolutely. You wouldn't be here, right? Jessica and Patricia, you all wouldn't be here if you weren't aware of how you are this amazing evolving being, a closed, open system. And let me give you some very specific steps to help you do this in the time remaining. All right, so we're holding the ground steady so you can move forward, where you're not hunkering down and you're freezing because the ground's shaking underneath you, but that you're making a decision to hold it steady in order for you to be able to move and continue to take those action steps. All right, so 3 keys to do this. Number 1, take stock of the facts and stare them down. Oftentimes, people will have a bit of a Pollyannish attitude where they think they have to pretend that things are not the way they are. Everything's fine. I'm affirming I'm happy and it's all good. And absolutely, those are good things, but it's not at the expense of really taking stock of what your facts are. So look at what's going on in your checkbook. Look at what's going on in the structure of your business. Look at your health, look at your relationships, look at your systems, look at all of it. You want to take stock of the facts. You want to inventory the facts. And as you're doing this, you want to stay neutral in the face of the facts. We're not sugarcoating them, but we're not catastrophizing them either. So the way that you do this, the way that you stand solid and you're just present with the facts, is by grounding in I'm going to give you 2 truth statements to help you ground yourself. Remember, standing steady in order to be able to be with whatever the facts are from a neutral perspective. First statement, I am one with the source that knows all things. And it's all basically the same statement. The power moving me, the power breathing me, I am one with that power and connected to the source that knows all things. When we understand who we are and how sourced and supplied and resourced we are, and that we are one with the stream of intelligence that's always guiding us, always inviting us into a higher level of innovation, creativity, possibility, and it shows up in very specific, tangible ideas. You have the fortitude, you have the ability to look at whatever the facts are, to recognize the ones that may not be to your preference, and to be able to celebrate the ones that are, knowing that you're being guided in profound ways to transform the ones that are not to your preference. And then the second statement is that the power in me, that moving through me, is greater than any outside fact or condition. So when you're staring at, say, your checkbook, or if you have a brick and mortar, the fact that your doors are closed, or that you may be in shelter in a relationship that's there was some strain to it, and now it may be accentuating it even more, or facts about that you may be struggling physically. Whatever they are, when you're taking stock of them, to stand in knowing there is a power moving in me, through me, as me, that's greater than any outside fact and condition. All right, so number 1, claim the facts. Just stare them down. Look at them and just stare them down. Then number 2, control the narrative. Right now, we are being bombarded with a variety of different perspectives of what's going on. It's all somebody else's narrative. Your power is your capacity to control the narrative you say about this. So I want to give you 2 ways to help you control the narrative. Number 1, declare it good. Declare it good. Know that it has come to bestow good on us. Every single one of us have had those experiences where it's like, oh my God, that was the worst, best thing. I wouldn't wish what happened to me on anybody, but I wish what came from it on everybody, when you consciously chose to lean into it as the transformative experience. So as you're writing down your facts, whatever those facts are, especially the ones that are unpreferred, declare it good. and start identifying the good that could come from it. You know, one of the things, I built my business on getting into rooms with people in the flesh, live people. I mean, you all are live, but people in the flesh sharing messages like this and then supporting through coaching. That's how I've built, generating millions of dollars in my business over the last several years. So when this happened, I had to pivot quickly. So one of the things that I'm starting to do is to really engage with social media. It's not been something that I had done a lot of up until this point, but it's a whole new world that is opening up to me in order to see, wow, I can serve this way. So there was, in fact, I had a 3-day public event that I had to shut down and change because in California, we couldn't come together. So the good that came from that is that it's opening up whole new ways for me to support people literally from around the world. So that's a good that came from me. So in your unpreferred facts, you're controlling the narrative, declare it good and identify ways that it could actually be good. Let's all the ways that it could be good. Now, here's the second way to control the narrative. You create a vision for what you would love when we're opened up. So let's say 6 months from now. Let's say 6 months from now, we're in a conversation and you're sharing with me about what's happened over the last 6 months. You are blown away by what happened for you because you chose to engage with this from a generative way of being. What's the conversation you would love to be having? You want to see it in your mind's eye. You want to physically write it down. You want to get very clear with it because here's the deal. You're running something about that anyway. You are using this faculty of your imagination to create a possibility for yourself 6 months from now. It's either an empowering vision. You're either using your imagination in a life-giving way or to terrorize yourself. So when we understand that we have the power to control what we see for ourselves in the future, even when our ground is shaking, the power of this is that it fundamentally transforms the way that you interact with current circumstances. Remember, you're declaring it good. You're imagining a new possibility for yourself. Watch how your whole base then stabilizes, which then allows you to step into the third step, which is massive imperfect action. When you're thinking from a place of possibility and you're claiming things as good, it fundamentally changes the way you think. It literally changes your brain chemistry. You now have the capacity to hear ideas and see opportunities and think creatively and tap into a stream of intelligence that's always inspiring, always guiding, always motivating you. But when you're hunkered down, frozen, just trying to keep your equilibrium, you don't have access to that kind of creativity. You don't have access to that kind of thinking or those kinds of ideas. So as you put this whole process in place, now you're able to see opportunities that were there all along, but now you have access to them. And then you physically, as you're working with this process, you're physically putting them into practice by moving your feet. So control the narrative. And then number 3, take massive imperfect action. And while you're taking massive imperfect action, you want to do what I call stack your wins along the way. One of the things that can get so discouraging is when it feels like that there's nothing happening. So one of the things that I help my people understand is that you want to watch for the micro moves. The micro moves. So micro move for me right now is that there are people that are actually responding to this video. That's a micro move for me, knowing that this is serving people in some way, shape, or form, even if you catch a snippet of it. This is serving you. And so you want to keep your eyes glued. It goes back to controlling the narrative. What am I paying attention to? You want to keep your eyes glued to the evidence that the energy is actually shifting and things are moving for you. And you do this, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, and wrap your arms around that very human part of you that is experiencing some human emotions along the way. This is not about doing a spiritual bypass. It's about honoring the human experience while staying faithful to the dream that's coming alive through you by being very intentional, very deliberate as you're putting forth this process. All right, so let me do a quick recap because I just have a couple minutes left. You are this amazing creative being with unlimited capacity to create. Our world is shaking right now. You are choosing to be an open system to allow this stressor in a way that will fundamentally transform you. You do this by, number one, recognizing how powerful you are. That's preliminary. Then number one, get clear with your facts, stare them down, see them for what they are, know that there is a power bigger than you, bigger than your facts or conditions moving through you right now, and that you are one with the source that knows all things. Control your narrative. What are you saying about this? Declare it that it's good, and then project a vision for your future that absolutely brings you alive. And then harness the ideas that are coming to you as a result of this and put it in service to your dream by taking massive and perfect action, celebrating your progress along the way. All right. So if this is serving you and you want more, I have an article to help you stay on track and not let yourself sabotage yourself. So it's 5 keys to stop self-sabotage. You can get that at free gift from Felicia, Felicia, free gift from Felicia. And I think I can put it in the comments or the descriptor. And then, of course, I'm doing things on a regular basis, so you'll get notified. I've got a free week, 4-week free course coming up, managing the energetics of money, a webinar coming up on May 9th. But so all of that you'll get it in an email if you're interested. And all of that is my gift to support you through this time. So freegiftfromfelicia.com. I'd love to hear how this has served you. Please comment on this. Share a key takeaway that you will take and apply. And then I'd love to hear from you about how it is that you're applying. All right. I have so much respect for you. So much respect. You are this amazing being with unlimited capacity to create. And it is an honor to be in the company of masters. My name is Felicia Searcy, your Dream Life Activator. It is my joy to be your partner in believing. Your dream is my passion. Mwah. God bless.